We're at the shop. We're going to be getting everything ready to go drifting tomorrow. It's supposed to be pretty nice out, I think. All the cars are doing good. My sons, we need to get an alignment because it's actually not driving well on the highway, and especially in the rain. It's horrible. So we got to figure out something there. But it's good enough to go drifting for the weekend. We'll get that done, and then we will actually this next week try to start on another project or whatever and try to get his alignment done. All right, here we go. All right, so here I was debating on what project we're going to start next, as far as, you know, just a replacement part, maybe a how-to video, maybe just, you know, something small, maybe something, just some kind of repair stuff, you know, something not a major to do. Well, sometimes opportunities tend to present themselves. So that being said, we're gonna have to put a starter on the F-250. So my son actually brought it here today and was gonna trade out with his drift car so he could drive it from the shop home tonight so we can take it drifting. And so he pulls in and then it won't start. Now this thing is notorious for the battery terminals to get dirty in about 3-4 months. It's always done that. And I don't drive it a lot, particularly probably a lot of it. I really don't know, but it's always done that. And so thought maybe it's that. So clean the terminals. Still wouldn't crank, but you could hear it, you know, bumping over on the Fords have a solenoid on the fender, inner fender, and you could hear it bumping over like it had power. It, you know, sounded like it had voltage going to it. And so I climbed under it, and the main power going down to the stud coming out of the starter, and then the little wire mesh piece that comes to the other stud coming up. Well, the main one was broke and loose. The one that goes from the second piece up to into the starter, well, it was broke loose and like was just kind of arcing off. So yeah, that we're gonna have to replace the starter. So that's a project that's gonna be on the table. We got to price one, get one ordered or whatever, and we'll do that when we get back from drifting this weekend. So there's another project, and we got something behind it, I'm sure. All right, here we go. So we got the car washed. My son, we got his washed. He's going to work now. I've gathered up a few things to take with us. What I generally take is just some random tools, something to be able to take my lugs off, jack the car up, maybe some coolant, some oil, stuff like that, and pack a cooler, you know, with drinks and that type of thing. But generally just about anything you would take to a regular track if you hadn't been drifting. It's about the same thing. Just take you know, if it's real hot, you may want to take like a tent, like the pop-up cover kind. Just, you know, make your own conditions. You know what I mean? If it's hot, take stuff to cool off with. If you get thirsty, take your drinks. Food, I don't think this one has like a permanent structure with food. So I think they had like a hot dog guy show up and sell hot dogs one time. Maybe the last time we didn't get to go, but we just broke down again. But yeah, if you want to go drifting, it's pretty simple, man. You know, first of all, you have to have a drift car. Well, you don't have to. You can go with a friend. I mean, I've had several people go with us that, you know, we let them drive our cars, you know. But at the same time, if I was driving somebody else's car, I'd be nervous that if something broke, I would feel compelled to help them fix it, you know. So if I came drifting with you and I drove your car, or if your car broke or any of that caliber, when we go back and we start repairing it, if I'm off work or in a position to help you fix that car, if I've drove it, I feel like I'm obligated to help you work on it. Whether I broke it or not, it doesn't matter. You know, you, at some point when you participate, you drive my car, I drive your car. It's one of those things where, you know, wear and tear on it, 2 people driving it, 3 people driving it, 4 people driving it, however many people drive it, you know, I feel each person at some point should be obligated to help fix that car, at least, you know, make the effort of, you know, helping that person, whoever's car they're driving, beating on, you know. That's just my opinion, but kind of keep that in mind too if you drive somebody else's car or, you know, whatever, and just try to help them out. Try to do right by that person is one thing, you know what I mean, because I've let people drive my car, and, you know, that would be the kind of thing that I would want. I wouldn't necessarily want them, you know, to pay for a bunch of stuff, but at the same time, wouldn't be mad if something broke and they help me pay for it or whatever. It doesn't matter. But I don't ask for that, but, you know, it would be cool to somebody to show up and be like, hey man, I drove your car, let me help you with whatever you need, you know, whether it's this car or another one. You know, you let me drive your car, it's cool. So try to be decent about that type of thing. And at the track, try to be decent too. So if you go out on the track and, you know, you try to find a happy medium about time. Now, if there's nobody sitting there waiting, you know, to jump on the track and do their drifting, you know, do whatever you want to do. If they want to go, they need to get in their car and get lined up here. But if there's cars lined up 2, 3, 4, 5 deep, don't be out there for an hour, you know what I mean? Give these guys a break, man. Let them, you know, yeah, I mean, you get to drift, but it's kind of one of those things where just try to do the right thing, you know what I mean? I wouldn't say set your watch and be like, hey, it's been 9 minutes, I need to pull off the track and let these guys go, but just try to be fair, you know what I mean? Try to be considerate of others. And when you're drag racing, they would always make a big deal about going fast in the pits, you know. So it's just, you know, basic knowledge. But there's a lot of these kids that are getting into the drift scene that you know, haven't had any time on the, you know, with the drag strip, been in the pits or anything, or been, you know, actually at a track on a regular basis. Just a lot of them don't know all the rules, and so far at the drift track, I've not had anybody actually say, hey, these are the rules, or nothing really majorly posted about, you know, going fast in the, you know, the dead zones where people are parking and all that, where it's not the drift track. So, you know, if you decide you want to go drifting, kind of think of some of that stuff. Just be decent, you know, about it, and keep in mind there's other people's cars there. Don't spin out, burn out, sling stuff all over everybody's cars, and, you know, everybody's there to have a good time, but, you know, still, you know, people's not going to be cool with, you know, gravel slung up the side of their car and stuff, you know. Even if they break it and out drifting, they're not going to want you to burn out, sling junk all over it. So just kind of keep that in mind. And if you've ever wanted to drift and it's on you, go do it. Like, if it's been on your mind and you try to work it out, I'm telling you, don't even take a car. If you want to go drifting and you want to experience it, don't even take a car. Just go. Go to one small track in your town or neighborhood. One of these guys will let you get in their car. I mean, they might not necessarily let you drive it, but they'll let you in it and experience it. You know, I was at a couple of these drift things, and they're like paying $25, $35 a head, and they're like paying $25, $35 a head for people to ride in these drift cars around the track. There's some guys at some of these tracks that are pretty doggone good, man. And so, I mean, they're not going to charge you anything. Hey, man, get in the car. Let's go. You want to ride? Get in. These guys are awesome, man. I'll give you that. These grassroots, you would call it, at the very beginner level, you know, experiences and where this all began kind of stuff. This isn't, you know, you'll have to read up on drifting. Drifting actually began in like Japan in the mountains or something like that. But for here, you know, it kind of transferred over, and then you got the Tokyo Drift movie or whatever that portrayed that. But you know, there was already people doing it before that even came. You know, I'd already seen some FD competitions and stuff and Formula Drift before that movie even came out. So you know, there's car guys that were into this before this was. It's one of those things where people were doing it before it was cool to do it. You know what I mean? So these guys are still out here doing it. Some of them didn't go pro. Some of them didn't go as far as that thing would take them. They just do it because it's fun. It's like playing football in your backyard. You know, these guys drift in these small scale places. You've never heard of them. They're not pros. You don't know their stickers. You don't watch their YouTube videos. But these guys drift every time it's just like drag racers. You go up to these local drag strips and there's cars all night long running, but you've never heard of them. But they're competitive with the big, you know, the biggest of the big drag racers. This is, you know, things people like to do, you know, so it's just like playing football. It's a sport. It's an adrenaline rush. It's fun. These guys love it. So if you hadn't been, man, you need to go. And if you're a car person, don't let anything hold you back. Even not having a car, do not let that hold you back. Get in your car or have to go with somebody that's going drifting and ride with them, watch, be involved, be proactive, and you'll start understanding what it's about. And then before you know it, you'll be broke like the rest of us and spend all your money on drift cars. Could be worse things. All right, here we go.
I'm feeling high.